Alright, so the Ice Dogs just scored again, so it's 3-0 over there in Athens. They are playing outside the ice tonight, so very weird. Georgia does not have a home arena right now. They will not have a home arena until next year, so I find that odd, but that's for the best. That is to help us to get our road to the NCAA hockey. But talk about basketball. Georgia takes on Kentucky tomorrow. Kentucky is number 8 or 10, depending on what poll you look at. Georgia will go to Kentucky, a place they have not won since 2008-09. As I've mentioned multiple times, Pete Herman was the intern coach for Georgia. That was the year they fired Coach Felton. Pete Herman comes in, he went like 1-5, I think, and his only win was literally in Lexington. So that's kind of odd. But 6 o'clock tip. Coverage will start at 5:35 on the Georgia Radio Network. You can listen to it on 750 AM WSB and the rest of the Georgia Radio Network affiliates. So, Kentucky's really good, man. I mean, Trey Mitchell, Antonio Reeves. I mean, these are some great players for Kentucky. Georgia beat Kentucky last year. They led Kentucky in Lexington. They beat them in Athens. That was the second time they played. Georgia played the first time they played Kentucky was in Lexington. Georgia actually led by about 9 or 10 at halftime, and then the second half it was way too much for Georgia. I was telling somebody, I said Georgia might have a chance to win. Georgia might have a chance to win. Somebody said Calipari already had the refs paid, so. So it's like, okay. Kentucky who is ranked 8 and 9, 10 in this week's AP and coaches poll, improved to 12-3, 3-1 in the SEC with a win over Mississippi State. Kentucky enters this weekend as the nation's top scoring team, averaging 90 points. The Wildcats also top SEC stats in field goal percentage, assist to turnover ratio. No less than 5 Wildcats are scoring at double-digit pace. Antonio Reeves leads UK in the third. In his third in the SEC, 19.4, followed by Rob Dillingham at 14.5, Trey Mitchell at 13.0, and DJ Wagner at 12.4. Kentucky leads the series 131-28. The Bulldogs and Wildcats split 2 meetings last year, each team winning on the 4. That's kind of it. That's all it says about the. That's kind of says all about those games. Georgia has not lost a road game this year, which is crazy to think about. They are 3-0 at the road. They won at South Carolina, they won at Missouri, and they won at Florida State. For Georgia, it's just simple, man. I mean, Georgia's already played a tough schedule. All the Ice Dogs. Sorry, I'm watching the Ice Dogs game too. All the Hoop Dogs gotta do is just go out there and play good. Georgia defensively, in my opinion, has the edge. They're one of the best defenses in college basketball. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else here noteworthy of talking about. Georgia has not won at Stegman College at Kentucky's or at Rupp Arena that often. Georgia's only won there like 3 or 4 times, so there's that as well. I'm trying to read and make sure there's nothing noteworthy in this. Yeah, there's not. So yeah, Georgia and Kentucky. Georgia, like I said, Georgia has the edge on defense. Kentucky has the edge on everything else. If Georgia can hold Kentucky to under 70 to 80 points a game in this game, Georgia might be able to win this game. And not to mention, I mean, I hate to be this guy, Georgia's technically on a 1-game winning streak versus Kentucky. They're on a 2-game winning streak in Athens. I'd love for that to be a legitimate streak. 2-game winning streak. That would be nice. And you're always going to get the calls in Rupp Arena. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people catering to the home crowd, but more specifically in Lexington, in Rupp Arena, the calls will not go Georgia's way, so there's that as well. But, I mean, everything else, I mean, Georgia should be able to should compete tomorrow. The spread has Kentucky as a 10 to 11 point favorite. I believe that's a little too high, maybe 7 to 8. But hopefully Georgia can go down to Lexington and get a win. That would be really nice. But if they don't, then too, that's fine too. We're still in a great place. But we got to win this game. We got LSU coming up after this game. That should be a win. That's a game right now to give Georgia probably an 80 to 90% chance to win. And then they got to go to the O'Connell Center, a place they've not won since the 18-19 season. So, yeah, Georgia and Kentucky, the Hoot Dogs, are looking for their first win in Lexington Rupp Arena since 2009. Hopefully Pete Herman's in attendance. No, I'm just joking. He's joining retirement. I hope he was a great coach for Georgia. He was an assistant coach for the longest time, but then he finally got a head coaching job. He was a great dude, so he deserves good things. But outside that, Georgia and Kentucky tomorrow, 6:00. Hopefully Georgia comes back to Athens with a win. So let's go Hoop Dogs.